What's up everybody, Jesse here, or Game Over Jesse as some of you all may know me, and today we're going to be talking about the next Zelda game coming after Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. Now Aonuma, a while back, actually gave us a hint at what to expect for the big follow-up on the Switch. Aonuma actually said that he wanted to make a multiplayer Zelda game in the style of Breath of the Wild and Triforce Heroes. So if you could just imagine taking those two games, combining them, that's the only hint at what to expect. And this isn't the only time Aonuma has actually hinted that he wanted to make a large-scale multiplayer game. Believe it or not, Breath of the Wild, which was first known as Zelda Wii U, actually began as a multiplayer game. It wasn't the single-player experience that we all are playing now. We'll get to all of that in just a moment, but first, I ask you to please subscribe and help us reach that goal of 50,000 subscribers if you want Zelda and Nintendo-related news like this every single day, sometimes even a few a day. Also, I actually have some download codes for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Steam, and even a few Nintendo Switch games to give away. The first one, we'll go ahead and give it away right now. If you can screenshot this, that is a code for a Steam game. I apologize if it's blurry, but we're gonna go ahead and move on. I have another one right here with some more in the box over here. So we're going to be giving some of those codes away throughout this video and some of the other ones I'm going to be posting in the coming days, so be sure to watch those videos so you don't miss out. Our interview with Aonuma comes from IGN, where the title says, Zelda producer, after Breath of the Wild, next game could be multiplayer. In the interview, the quote from Aonuma says, I would like to take what I learned from Breath of the Wild and see if we can somehow fuse those learning points into another multiplayer Zelda. For example, with Triforce Heroes, which followed a similar format of Four Swords, there was multiplayer involved in that game. This last bit came as a response to a question regarding previous comments made by Aonuma in a Nintendo Direct back in 2013. The series producer said he wanted to rethink the conventions of Zelda and allow players to complete dungeons and scenarios in any order, but at the time, he also mentioned challenging the notion of playing by yourself. Aonuma admitted that throughout the Zelda franchise, he has done a lot of experimenting. Some of you watching this may actually remember the Nintendo Direct way back in 2013. It was when they first announced Wind Waker HD would be coming to the Wii U. They might have had something about Hyrule Warriors in it, and of course they gave us our first bit of information about Zelda Wii U, which would go on to become Breath of the Wild. Now at this time, Aonuma only gave us a few little hints at what to expect. One of them, as he's mentioned, was he didn't want you to complete dungeons in a certain order, and second, he didn't want you to think about Zelda Wii U as a single player experience. Now this you could take in whichever way you wanted to. At the time it could have meant, well, we're just going to be adding Miiverse to it, because that's what they did with Wind Waker, that's what they did with Twilight Princess, in a way that could count as multiplayer in very, very broad terms. It is multiplayer since you are still interacting with other people, but many of us took this as it's going to be a full-on multiplayer game, and Triforce Heroes didn't actually sell that well on the 3DS. Not nearly as well as A Link Between Worlds anyways. So with that in mind, it may have deterred them, or maybe their ideas of what they wanted to do with Breath of the Wild changed during development to where they did want to make it just a standalone single player experience. So it makes me wonder if the follow-up, the next big Zelda game, is supposed to be a multiplayer Zelda game based off of the engine from Breath of the Wild. What is that going to look like? Now, a few options that I can think of is if we use Breath of the Wild as an example. In the game, if you tap an amiibo, Wolf-Link will appear. Obviously, Wolf-Link will help you, but he is completely controlled by the AI. The computer decides everything that he does. But I ask, what if someone could pick up a second controller and actually control Wolf-Link? Nothing in the game would change. It wouldn't change any of the experience at all, because the game is still being designed as a single player experience. And in the same way, Wolf-Link is completely optional. He remains completely optional. You could tap the amiibo, he comes, the computer or the AI controls him, he acts as your partner. But if a second player picks up a Joy-Con or a second controller and they can control Wolf-Link, it would make it Again, completely optional. It wouldn't ruin the game in any way. A lot of people think multiplayer ruins Zelda game. In this way, like you would never, the game would never force you to play multiplayer, but if you wanted to, you have the option. I hope Breath of the Wild's follow-up is something like that, to where it is built as a single-player game, but maybe if you pull out the Four Sword, we all know Four Swords from Four Swords Adventures and Four Swords on the Game Boy Advanced and the GameCube. So if they did something like that to where there was an item or a weapon that separated Link into separate heroes, like the Four Swords does, then I think that would be the perfect thing. Or maybe even if it was like a bracelet, some magical item, like you get a bracelet in Ocarina of Time that allows you to pick up bombs. Like there's gloves that allows you to pick up giant boulders that are like thousands of pounds. So it's not too far out there to think, like, with all the magical weapons and stuff, that there would be a bracelet or something else aside from the Force Sword that allows you to split into multiple characters. We've seen Twin Rova combine into one character, but I'm getting a bit off topic. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the idea of a multiplayer Breath of the Wild style game? Do you look forward to it? What kind of dungeons would you want? Would you want it to be a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild? Maybe instead of multiple Links, it's Link and Zelda rebuilding this Hyrule. Not necessarily Breath of the Wild 2, but something like Phantom Hourglass to The Wind Waker, or Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time, to where it is taking place directly after the game, but it's not necessarily named after that game. So yeah, leave us your comments below, let us know what you're hoping for. If you enjoy the videos on my channel, please consider subscribing, checking out my second channel focusing on movies and TV shows, and my Patreon, where you can join in as a guest in upcoming videos, watch new videos first, you can have me join in and collaborate on videos for your own channel, have custom artwork or custom avatars made of yourself or for your channel, and much more.